Hello, my name is Emanuela and today I will take you around in a tour to discover volcanoes. Beginning from Greek and Roman myths to understand how volcanoes help shaping the world as we know it now, including art. Let's start with a bit of mythology. In ancient Greece, people believed that volcanic eruptions were caused by the Titans. Titans fought against the gods of Olympus and their tremendous battles shattered the earth. In turn, the earth could not help throwing out the fire it kept inside its womb. The biggest of the Titans was Typhon, son of Tartarus and Gaia. In order to punish his insolence, gods imprisoned Typhon under the Italian volcano called Etna. But the screaming and the shouting of the imprisoned Titan spread around for kilometers, and his hunger flowed out from the mouth of the volcano in form of lava and magma. Hephaestus, the god of fire and volcanoes, was a major historical personality too. In fact, he forged weapons for other gods and mythological characters, like lightning bolts for Jupiter and shields for Achilles. According to the legend, god Hephaestus has his workshop under the volcano, so whatever came out of the volcanoes in the Mediterranean was sparks and smoke produced out of Hephaestus and Cyclops' work. The Cyclops had one single eye that is the symbol of mouth of a volcano. They were tall and strong, like mountains, and they were considered Hephaestus' assistants. Even more surprisingly, in Italian mythology, Hephaestus, who is Greek god of fire, is called God Volcano. Isn't it incredible? Volcanoes were so important that a god was named after them. However, Romans also developed another, more scientific viewpoint. In fact, ancient Romans were already aware of the complex materials composing volcanoes, and they examined and searched the possible origins of underground fires. They found that sulfur, bitumen, and alum were potential oxidizers, in addition to air and water. Romans largely used volcanic products in building and to obtain hydraulic cement. Their engineers were able to recognize such materials wherever they found them. Now that we have discussed about the myths, let's move backwards in time even more. Back to 4 billion years ago. At the beginning of its creation, the Earth was made of a thin magmatic layer that surrounded a molten sphere. Later on, it's supposed that due to a crash with planet Theia, the Earth's dimensions increased, and the flotsam created out of the crash gave origin to the Moon. The heat left inside the Earth moved outside to the volcanoes that emitted gases like oxygen and hydrogen. These gases helped the creation of the Earth's atmosphere and presumably also produced water. Probably the interaction between volcanoes and water brought about life on our planet, hundreds of millions of years ago. Today, the Mid-Atlantic ridge still hosts volcanic mouths, called black smokers, erupting chemical elements that are paramount for the creation of life. Not only did the volcanoes bring about life, even today they affect biological and social evolution. And the next obvious question is, what is a volcano? A volcano is a geological structure formed inside the Earth's crust by the rise of molten rock mass, called magma. It is made of an invisible structure inside the crust that includes the magmatic chamber and magmatic conducts, and a visible structure made of volcanic prominence, more or less similar to a cone, formed by the buildup of liquid, solid or gaseous materials emitted by the volcanic crater during the various eruptions of the volcano. Volcanic eruptions can be divided in two macro-categories: explosive eruptions and effusive eruptions. Explosive eruptions are typical of acid volcanoes. They produce magmas rich in silica and emit small quantities of lava that builds up near the block with abundant pyroclastic products. The activity is characterized by violent explosions. Effusive eruptions are usually typical of volcanoes emitting basic lava with little pyroclastic products in a large production of fluid lava that flows rapidly from slopes and hillsides, spreading around. Basic lava often flows onto the surface from a straight crack in the crust, rather than from a chimney in the middle. In this case, it erupts linearly. Volcanoes erupt lava and also huge quantities of gases, also mixed in the magma, like carbon dioxide, various kinds of sulfur, hydrogen, and many other gases. Namely, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide have a large impact on the climate change. For example, carbon dioxide causes the climate to warm up. At present, though, humans are by far the largest producers of carbon dioxide. Sulfur dioxide has a cooling effect. We already know that carbon dioxide is the main cause of the so-called greenhouse effect that originally brought about life on Earth, preventing the loss of solar heat of the planet. But in present times, the greenhouse effect is likely to cause the extinction of habitats essential for the life of many species, especially in glaciers and at the poles. With regard to sulfur dioxide, it condenses in the atmosphere in the form of sulfuric acids and creates aerosol that is capable of reflecting solar rays, causing the thermosphere, or lower atmosphere, to cool down. It is clear by now that volcanoes have always been fascinating for humans. Artists like William Ashcroft in 1883, Jules Travier Caldera in 1886, Charles Fourneau in 1885 and Andy Warhol in 1985 were just a few of the artists who depicted such fantastic outbursts of natural strength. Such works also have a scientific value. This is demonstrated by the increased percentage of red and green found in the skies of hundreds of paintings depicting eruptions in the period between 1500 and the year 2000. Regardless the artistic style, in paintings produced after a volcanic eruption, the skies always contained more reddish tones than the skies representing in paintings made in a period with low volcanic activities. So that's it. I hope that it was interesting and that you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching and bye bye!